UK immigration is constantly evolving, and the latest updates bring major implications for parents who want to bring their children to the UK permanently. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Daily Visa News, and this is your go-to place for the latest updates on UK immigration policy. Today, we're going to break down an issue that affects countless families around the world: the updated rules on indefinite leave to remain, also known as ILR, and the latest immigration changes for children who are currently outside the UK. Whether you're a British citizen, a settled resident, or currently here on a work visa, understanding these rules is critical for securing your family's future. In this video, we'll walk through everything you need to know. We'll go step by step through what ILR actually means, who qualifies, what the application process looks like, and the recent changes that could directly impact your plans. So, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do so. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is indefinite leave to remain? ILR gives a person the right to live, work, and study in the UK with no time restrictions and without the need for a visa. It's often seen as the final stage before applying for British citizenship. And for children born outside the UK, obtaining ILR is a crucial part of securing their long-term future. Now, it's important to remember that the UK does not automatically grant citizenship to children born here. Citizenship is not by birthright. Instead, a child's eligibility depends heavily on the immigration status of their parents. This is why understanding the requirements for ILR is so important if your children were born abroad. So, what does it take for a child outside the UK to qualify? Generally speaking, children under the age of 18 who are born and living abroad may be eligible. In some cases, older children already in the UK on a dependent visa can also apply, but they'll need to meet additional conditions, such as passing an English test and the Life in the UK test. A key factor is the immigration status of the parents. For a child's application to be successful, both parents usually need to have permanent residence in the UK. This can mean ILR, British citizenship, Irish citizenship with established residence in the UK, or settled status under the EU settlement scheme. There are exceptions. For example, if only one parent has permanent status but they have sole responsibility for the child may still qualify. However, proving sole responsibility can be complicated and requires strong evidence. On the other hand, if neither parent has permanent residence, the child won't be eligible for ILR immediately. Instead, parents would typically need to bring the child on a dependent visa, for example, under the skilled worker route. After living in the UK for a set period, the child can then apply for ILR. Now, let's talk about the application process itself. When applying from outside the UK, the application is actually called Indefinite Leave to Enter, or IEL. It works in the same way as ILR, that it's specifically for children applying from abroad. To apply, you'll need to prepare several key documents. These include proof of your relationship to the child, such as a birth certificate or family records, the child's current passport, evidence of your own immigration status, such as proof of ILR or citizenship, and documents that demonstrate you can support your child financially and provide adequate housing in the UK. If you're a single parent applying on the basis of sole responsibility, you'll also need to include detailed evidence to back up your claim. The application is submitted online, and while fees can vary, it's always important to check the latest information on the official government website before applying. On top of the application cost, be prepared for additional expenses like translation of documents into English or Welsh, if they're not already in one of those languages. Now, let's move on to the recent changes and what they mean. The UK has introduced updates that directly impact children and families. One important update relates to the private life route. This change, which recently came into effect, is particularly important for children and young adults who have grown up in the UK. For example, children born in the UK who have lived here continuously for several years now have a clearer pathway to settlement if it would be unreasonable for them to leave. For children born abroad, settlement may be possible after spending a continuous period of residence in the UK on a private life or family life route. Another change under discussion is the government's proposal to extend the qualifying period for ILR for certain visa categories. There's a plan to increase the period required for work visa holders from 5 years to 10. While family visas are not expected to be affected, this is still something to keep an eye on, as any extension could impact dependent children as well. In addition, the government is tightening English language requirements across many visa categories. Partners of skilled workers may now need to show a basic level of English before being granted a dependent visa. While this doesn't currently apply to children, there's a possibility that language requirements could be extended further in the future. As you can see, the rules are complex and constantly evolving. The process of applying for ILR or ILE can be especially challenging when issues like sole responsibility are involved. This is why seeking professional advice is so important. An experienced immigration lawyer can help you prepare a strong application, gather the right evidence, and increase your chances of success. Bringing your child to the UK to settle permanently is one of the biggest decisions a family can make. Being informed, prepared, and proactive is the best way to make the journey smoother. So, here are the key points to remember. Eligibility depends largely on the parent's immigration status. Documentation must be thorough and accurate, and recent changes may impact the timing and conditions for your application. For children born abroad, obtaining ILR can open the door to British citizenship after they've held ILR for a year. I hope this guide has given you a clearer picture of the updated UK immigration rules for children outside the UK. The journey can be long, but with careful planning and the right information, it is possible to navigate it successfully. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more immigration updates, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments below. Just remember, for personalized advice, it's always best to speak with a qualified immigration professional.